YouTube comment and question from D's4600. Shout out to D's. He said, another great show. I think he was watching our last show. He said, question, could the current WWE roster have the potential to be the greatest in history, both stories and wrestling, from the men and women? I actually answered him in the comments, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts first before I kind of just tell you what I said.
First off, I wanted to say, man, y'all got some names on y'all.
Charlotte McGay. Damn, y'all got some names on y'all.
Angela Lee. Hell yeah, it's crazy because just how this time last year, I remember kind of having a thing like, all right, H, like you took over in August, September, but Raw was starting to be a little bit stale, like a little bit in January, if I can remember correctly, to the point where, I mean, these are 3 hours again, I'm feeling it. And you go from that, and again, you just trust the process, and H we trust, and this is what we get. I mean, you look at all those top names on the men and women side, and you're just like, wow, you luckily got all these people on your roster right now, and they're all important too. Like, again, it's like if you're not the top 3, top 4 people in the company, you're not anybody, or you're a mid-carder. No, we have like 8 to 10 people. Like that's once in a lifetime type stuff right there to get.
Man, it's what a time to be a fan. I actually thought about that, on the way home. I was talking to somebody about wrestling, and we were just talking. They're like, "Hey, what was your favorite thing to do when you were a kid?" I'm like, "Well, I used to have GI Joes, and I turned them into wrestling characters. They were more flexible, more bendable." And so, ever since I was a little boy, I've had this love of wrestling. And I just thought about, wow, it's just a great time to watch wrestling in general, WWE, AEW. Just talk about free agency next year. But to answer that question, it makes you think it is a great time. But damn, man, like if you didn't grow up around the Attitude Era, man, they had so many greats, right? You had The Rock, you had Stone Cold, you had The Undertaker, you had Triple H. Then you had, the Booker T's came in, and then you had the Hardys, and then you had the Dudleys. I mean, golly, y'all, like back then they had so many stars. And it kind of reminded me of like AW when they first started. Like I was into everybody.
Yeah,
I was into everybody. And that's how it felt like with the Attitude Era back then, because those are true. Like I'm not going to sit here and say a lot of these guys outside of Roman and my main man, my brother from another mother, Cody Rhodes, aren't going to be Hall of Famers, because they certainly are. But those are legit Hall of Famers right now. So it's one of them. It's definitely a great time, but I don't think it's the best.
So you're still going with Attitude Era?
Oh yeah. Without even having the list in front of me. I mean, just to have Stone Cold, Rock, Undertaker, Triple H. I mean, those guys are like, top 10 of all time guys.
So, okay, so you named off. So we're on the same page. My response was, I think the answer can be easily, this time can be better than any time in the past. And I named off, yes, we did have Austin Rock, Triple H, Taker, Kane, Kurt Angle, Mick Foley. Mick Foley.
Jesus.
Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys,
Edge and
Christian. I mean, we can go on and on and on, right? Of legit bona fide Hall of Famers.
Chris Jericho.
Steve Blackman was the man too.
Hey, I wasn't a Blackman guy, man. You on the island, you on your own with that one.
But so the names I named off now though, as I said, so right now, and this is under Triple H, that we've kind of just, I think we all agree that product's been better this year than it has in decades for WWE. You got Roman, bona fide Hall of Famer. Cody, Bonafide. Actually, everybody I got on here is, I think, Bonafide Hall of Famers. I put Roman, Cody, Punk, Seth, Orton, Rhea, Gunther, Becky, Bianca, Charlotte, Usos, KO, Sammy, Brock, LA Knight, EO, and then I said that's also not even including NXT. That ain't including the Tiffany Strattons. That ain't including the Mellows. That ain't including the Roxannes. That's not including any of them. And then now you're talking also the potential return of Sasha Banks. Minimally. That's not even anybody else who would jump from AEW like a Ricky Starks or like a Warlow or whoever may jump within the next 12 months. It's an embarrassment of riches, man. It really, really is. And I think that this is one of those moments where it pays to not be a loyalist. So I think some of the loyalists, the people who just don't watch one or the other, right? Say even they don't watch AEW. Because maybe you were talking so much shit about AEW. If you go back and watch, now you look like a hypocrite, right? There is no way, there is not something that WWE is doing right for you. Even if you hate the bloodline, even if you hate all the champions, there is something they're doing right. Either the lucha matches, either their presentation, either, you know what I'm saying? Like there's something that you can watch and say, you know what? Yeah, AEW is still my favorite. Yes, Impact is still my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ring of Honor is still my favorite. But man, what they're doing with that person, all right, I can get behind that. So that's why I don't know if I believe that these folks actually just don't watch at all. I think this is like their gimmick. But to your point, E, it is a time, man, because they're not stopping anytime soon from what it looks like at all.